Today on the 67 Continental project, we're switching gears a little bit. It's still on the never-ending door card continuum, but we're switching mediums. Well, I've been working in plastic and wood up till now. Today's the day we go metal. Basically, some changes to the design, not big changes, but they're big enough that I have to build a new top cap for the armrest. Here we've got the old armrest and the new armrest. Changes are minor, just a little bit more length for gangly people, and because it sits, we've got this new section here. This finishing thing has to go, it has to butt up against there. So those changes are enough that I'm going to have to do a new top plate, because this is pot metal with chrome plating, which is not easy to modify. So I'll have to build a new one out of aluminium to incorporate the changes. This is going to be the trickiest part because it's got all sorts of angles and radiuses here that I need to try and replicate. And the other added annoyance is that this was finished in chrome and we're still reusing the back top caps. So I need to make the aluminium as shiny as possible, which means polishing in here once it's welded, which is painful and annoying, but such is life. The first task is going to be replicating this pocket for the door handle, and to do that I'm going to be using my little friend, the digital angle box from Princess Auto, hence the mark of quality, Power Fist. That's how you know it's good. Basically, it's Canada's equivalent to Harbor Freight in the US. And what's good about these things is it allows you to set a datum to measure other things off of by, leveling to something that isn't level. So I just set that here. I'd hit 0, and then from that I can take this datum point and measure here to get the angle that this needs to be at. So from the measurements that I got on my angle box, I will take that and make a cardboard template. The angle measurements will give me my corner cutouts, and then basically it's just a matter of transferring this to aluminium and then bending it in this basic manner to give me that pocket. So I'll transfer that over to a sheet, but just for giggles and practice before I get into the good material, I took a scrap piece of aluminium, and I just wanted to practice like whether it was better doing a weld on the inside or a weld on the outside to get the correct profiles in here to replicate the factory one better. So the reason I practiced on this is because I spent well over an hour carefully sanding in various grits and polishing this piece of aluminium, and then carefully taping and using cardboard to bend it without marring the surfaces, because this has to get polished in here to replicate the chrome finish on the factory piece. Well, it seems like my brilliant plan was maybe not so brilliant after all. It didn't survive first contact with the enemy being imprecision in manufacturing, let's say. It's kind of got a bit of a propeller warp on it. Not a lot, but enough that it bothers me. And so I think I'm going to simplify, because usually that does lead to a better result. And instead of doing all four, like right here, instead of doing all 4 bends, I'll just reduce it to these 2 bends on the long side and add these plates after the fact by welding them on. After all, it's just one more seam, not a big deal. But yeah, it's how it goes. It's frustrating, but every piece is kind of a learning opportunity, frustration, resistance opportunity as well. Well, I'm pretty happy. I've got the welds finished. Not the prettiest things I've ever done, but I ran the welds a little bit cold. So the idea there was to preserve the surface finish of the inside. And it's done that really well. I got a little bit out of shape in the corners here, a little bit hot, but I can live with it. And yeah, so this just means that I don't have to do any tedious polishing on the inside. And it's close enough to the other one that I'm happy with it. So yeah, I'll just move on to the other stuff now. So I've trimmed the excess off this using the table saw in a little bit nerve-wracking operation, but it was done. All the fingers are still here. And so I've got the door handle in place, and that'll sort of dictate exactly where this lives. And once I've got this located in place, then I'll just build the rest of the top piece out from there. So, you know, relatively simple, but kind of fiddly. Off camera, I've done some of the scut work, such as milling out this slot for the door handle and beveling these edges ready for welding. I'm going to try to keep the weld a little bit cold here for the same reason, preserving surface finish. And you can kind of see there's a bit of a bigger gap here. Reason for that is that when you get to the edge of aluminium like here, it has a tendency to sort of melt back quite easily. So if you leave it a little bit long, it reduces that effect. So I can just, this gap will close up, and I can just trim the excess with the table saw after the whole assembly's been welded together. Well, this filming business sure makes me keep my bench a lot cleaner. Because if you saw the state of this in normal operations, it's a bit of a shocking affair. Anyway, I have the tacks on the backside done, and now I just have to do some gluing along here. So after what feels like hours of time, I finally have my little rectangular hole in the top panel. So just drill a couple holes and then spend an inordinate amount of time with this little guy. Really painful. Anyway, the reason I need that is I'm using the original switch here, a window switch, and it's got this rectangular bezel on it. So that just fits in like so. Ta-da! And now all I have to do is make some mounts on the back side and then spend many more hours getting this to probably about a 2000 grit surface finish before I can polish it and get the nice chrome look that I'm after. So, gonna be a lot more tedium to come. Well, after working my way from 100 to 2500 grit, I'm finally done sanding after like 2.5 hours. I'm ready to move on to polishing, and yeah, we get to see shiny things, which is sort of exciting, but at this point I'm just kind of ready to be done with it. Well, for the benefit of anybody still watching, the polishing is complete. I haven't shown that because it's dull as dishwater, and you don't need to see that. But I do have a shiny thing now, so let's have a look. Ta-da! In all its shining glory. Now you can see, in comparison to the old top cap, that I've tried to keep the design language much the same. It's the original window switch here, original handle. Just had to move things around a bit as necessitated by, gubbins that are fixed on the door, so it had to shift relative to things. But it'll get its own armrest here eventually. Well, all that remains is for me to repeat that process and build another top cap for the driver's side, and then I get to move on to a project that I'm really looking forward to, and that's doing the center console for this car, which is kind of massive as it runs all the way from the front to the rear firewall of the car, kind of, for lack of a better term. And so I got to curve a piece of plywood and then apply a simply beautiful piece of burl walnut veneer. Just one piece, it's huge. And yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that, and I hope you'll join me to watch that come together. And so all that remains is for me to say thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!